Mm.
All right, we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Referral Partner Acquisition Show. Hope you're all doing well this week. Happy Friday. If you're new to the show, my name is Will Anagnos. As always, I'm here with my co-hosts, Panos Sklavanitis and David Youngs. Guys, thank you for being here with me. Again, if you're new to the show, we're here every Friday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern. As always, we always talk about getting in front of new realtor partners, prospective partners, how to retain them forever, and how to retain them, especially when you're giving them value. And we talk about providing them value on these episodes. So, if you have any questions, if you want to drop your thoughts, do so in the comments down below. If you feel like what we're providing is valuable, so please let us know as well. Slap that like button and love button if you can. Today we're going to be talking about some of the basics. We're going to go back to the basics. So if you're a new loan officer, this is actually really important to you. If you're not a new loan officer, this is still important. You may have been doing this mistakenly and not realized it. Priorities of seed planting. It's important. I'm just going to give a brief overview. Seed planting is the most important thing you can do in any business. It has to do with daily outreach. And if you watch these episodes every Friday, you know I love daily outreach. It's more important than posting or making sure your website's perfect or getting out and meeting or doing whatever you think is more fun or more attractive or whatever it may be. What I see a lot of times is I hop on the phone with loan officers every week, and I'm always hearing about how they're spending money and time on filming, especially if they're doing it themselves. Me personally, the time it takes to film, the frustration, doing it wrong, doing it half-ass, and then you post it and then you upload it and you sit and wait for things to happen. And you do it again, and yeah, you get better at video editing if you're doing it yourself. But if you don't have daily outreach in place, if you don't have your prospecting in place, and that means maxing out all of your channels, maxing out the amount of phone calls and follow up for phone calls, maxing out your outreach on all social media platforms, maxing out your assistant's outreach if you have if you're leveraging an assistant or so they're leveraging your profiles for you on your behalf. If you don't have outreach, inbound and outbound sales, and then fulfillment, you don't need to worry about everything else yet. Especially the first part, planting seeds every single day, maxing out. Because if you sometimes I hop on the phone with people and they go, yeah, I use Facebook, I use LinkedIn. This is my favorite. I use LinkedIn. I sent out like 25 requests. Nobody responded to me, and I just haven't got any business from it, let alone a response. Well, you haven't done enough. You haven't actually done anything. I can't even think of a really good metaphor at the moment to paint the picture, but that's not enough. You need to, and by the way, you need to have a strategy behind everything that you do. But doing it daily, having systems in place, whether they're manual systems, just systematizing it, making sure that every day you're maxing out the amount of people you can reach out to on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on other social media platforms, how much you can cold call and warm call and hot call every single day, maxing those out. And then when you've maxed those out, let's say you've done all that before 12 noon, before you did that today, before you're hopping on this on one of our episodes, then after this episode, you can go open up iMovie, open up Photoshop, and make some content, or spend money to have people come to your office and film content. David, I know that you mentioned before we went live some experience about that. You want to just kind of go over your experience? I'm sure people can relate.
I mean, as you're saying this, I was thinking, you guys, anybody watching this probably is familiar with the illustration of you got a bucket or a jar, you got your rocks, your pebbles, and your sand.
Mm-hmm.
If you try putting the sand in first, then the pebbles, then the rocks, it won't fit. But if you flip it over and you do rocks first, the most important things, your next kind of important, but not as important things, the pebbles, and then your sand is your busy work. That's your social media posting and all that other stuff. Now it fits. Yeah. But a lot of people make the mistake of equating busy with success. And busy and success do not usually always correlate. It's something that takes a lot of work on the right activities. We've all heard about, the 80-20 rule as well. 20% of the LOs in the industry make 80% of the income, 80% of them make 20% of the income, and so on. So we want to make sure that if you want to be one of those 20% successful LOs out there doing this, focus on the right activities. And like to your point, Will, prospecting, really is the single greatest thing you can be doing with your time. Outreach prospecting, again, cold, warm, or hot leads, it doesn't matter. Having conversations with people. Now, social media specifically, I feel like this is something we can get caught in so easily. I have done this myself. You're not only are you on social media in the first place, right away that's going to be a distraction. You're like, oh, look at the cute cat and look at whatever else, and you start getting stuck up down this rabbit hole. And 20 minutes later, you're like, oh shoot, I was going to record a video, and I completely forgot because I got distracted and I sent my wife like 5 things like, isn't this cool, or like, what about this? And so you get distracted on social media in the first place. But let's assume you don't. You just go and you create your video content. You create the video, you get it edited just right. You got your captions in there, your music, you got it all looking perfect. Even if you're doing this for free, you're doing this all yourself. You're not paying anybody else to do this. You've got a good amount of time right there invested in this video. And you might have a few hundred, maybe even a few thousand. Maybe if you're really good, you've got 10,000 plus followers that are watching this. But how many people are actually calling you saying, I would like to work with you now because of this? It's extremely rare that happens. And what I wanted to share.
It happens, but yeah, you're right. It's extremely rare. People sit and they go, all right, I'm posting, and a not serious buyer has come in the door.
And to make a point, even the people who do get business directly from social media, there is also a whole back-end strategy.
Yes.
And outreach,
yes,
and utilizing those posts and those videos. So no one is saying that, oh, stop posting. No, but if you want to invest into posting, you should also first build the process of how you're going to take advantage of that posting. Yeah. Because if you have 10,000 followers and you can outreach to them with a specific process, then that's very beneficial. But if you have no systems and nothing in place, just posting won't get you the results you think you're going to get. Unless, of course, like you said, there is exceptions. You can go viral. Something can happen out of it, sure. But that's like a one-off here and there.
Don't worry about posting until you have your daily outreach in place. You've maxed out the amount of touch points you can do. New touch points, follow-up touch points, warm touch points, hot touch points. Those are like referral partners. Must I go on? So,
you got to remember too, when you're looking at some of these really nicely done posts with this incredible video with the perfect lighting and the transitions coming in and the music and the captions, and most of the time, this is a third party that they're paying to do this for them. And I know LOs personally in the industry that are pretty successful with this, but they've got literally 6 to 10 grand per month invested into this. And they're already in the top 1% of professionals out there. They have the funds to do it. They're doing the outreach, like you said. They're already doing these things. So until you hit that 1% or even top 5% LO level, that should never be your focus. We know that it's very, very low conversions on these from proven stats. But the one thing that you do want to make sure not to make the mistake of as well is I don't want to have anybody walk away from this thinking, well, the team here, WA Marketing, is saying, well, don't do social media. Absolutely not. Because the first thing, like Panos, if you called me, you're like, hey, this is Panos. I'd love to talk to you about a mortgage loan. Who are you? Google search. All right. There's his TikTok. There's his Instagram. There's his Facebook. Who is this guy? What does he sound like? What does he look like? How long has he been doing this? They're going to go check you out. So you need social media for brand awareness. Brand awareness. That's the only reason you really need it. So that if they go look you up, they know you're a real person. They can tell if they like you. They can see my Huskies and be like, oh, that guy has Huskies. I love Huskies. And maybe they want to work with me because of that. A legit story. I've had that happen many times, which is cool. So have the brand awareness, but don't get distracted from the more important things. And if you actually have a few $1,000s to go invest in something like these other guys do, we can show you some really, really 10 times more effective ways to use that money than go pay somebody for social media.
Yeah, it's a lesser dopamine hit. It's not as attractive, but it's proven and statistically it's working better. You know, getting in front of people to establish relationships is better than just posting a video. Again, it depends. We're not saying don't post, but have your priorities in line. For example, you got to max out. Yeah, actually, Panos, I want you to say what you're going to say because I know what you're going to say. But I want to quickly say, max out all of your social medias first. Meaning, don't go spending your time making amazing posts every day, worrying about, oh my God, I didn't post 3 times a week, or I'm trying to schedule the month out, until you have a strategy in place for every single platform. So I know a lot of loan officers, they like Facebook and Instagram before LinkedIn because of popularity reasons. LinkedIn's business is haha boring, not really, but LinkedIn is business Facebook. So that's the rank I take it in. And do you have a strategy on Facebook? Meaning every day I do this first, I do this second, I do this third, and I track it all. Then on Instagram, I do this first, I do this second, I do this third, and then I track it all. Whether you track it manually in an Excel sheet like I did back in 2019, or if everything's automatically tracked, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then LinkedIn you can do a lot with, and I'm going to start with that. But that's also a platform where you should be maxing out, depending on what kind of profile you have and what kind of health it's, what kind of level of health it's in. Are you maxing out the amount of outreach you can do on that platform too? So if you don't like LinkedIn for wrong reasons, Facebook and Instagram, try that first. And then once you're ready, add the next platform, maximize your platforms, and maximize the amount of phone calls you're making per day too. Maximize your cold calls, maximize your warm calls, block that in or put that into your schedule. And then you can be like, okay, the important things, the things that actually bring money in, that's being taken care of, or I'm doing the most as I can. You can't do, there's a max. You can only do so much. So as long as I do the max and I know I did my best that day and I could not do any better because of system limitations, I feel really good that if I have extra time to make a post today, or if I don't, it's okay. I did what's important first. It's like eating a good breakfast before doing anything else. Panos, what were you going to say?
And the thing is, it's what we say, it's not something new, right? Everyone has been talking about this since forever. Back in the day, there wasn't social media. What did everyone say? Go through your sphere of influence, door knock, go to businesses. This is basically the same thing that has always worked in a bigger scale by utilizing social media.
Yep.
So if you're a new LO and perhaps you had a career before, or this is the first career you're having, well, first you're going to start with your sphere of influence. Who do you know? Your friends, your family. You're not going to call them and pitch them, but you're just going to call and reach out to them and let them know you're in the business and see if they can help you by introducing you to someone. After that, you need to expand. Who's your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? Who's your ideal referral partner? Make a list. Trust me, there are thousands and thousands of these people around your area, unless you live in a super remote place. But for instance, I live in Los Angeles. Let's say I wanted to target lawyers. There are 15,000 lawyers in Los Angeles. Are you really telling me that if I started prospecting lawyers every day, that I wouldn't be able to get something out of it? Just by nurturing these people and putting them in a drip campaign and staying, like Will said, doing your follow-ups, something will come out of it. So it's the same thing that everyone has preaching. Go out there, do your outreach. Now you can do it from your couch or your office or your bed. But the point is, like, reach out to people in any way, shape, or form you can. Try to have conversations, and that's the very first step to just start building your pipeline, start putting data in it. And the more data you have in your database, the more results you can get out of it.
I'll tell you guys right now, just verbally without having to screen share anything, there are strategies in place that we have step-by-steps for all the platforms. It can be warm calling, cold calling. For Facebook, for example, I'm not sure exactly what the limit is now because I don't do that stuff anymore, but find out how many new realtors you can connect with on Facebook, friend on Facebook. Max that out on a daily basis. on Instagram, how many can you follow to get them to follow back? There's a strategy behind this, so don't take it with a grain of salt. And on LinkedIn, the limit is always changing, but it's still the most powerful platform out of the three. Are you maxing that out? Are you maxing it out using the basic free LinkedIn? Are you maxing it out using automation? Do you have Sales Navigator so you can do a little bit more? Are you targeting the right people?
And I do want to say, sorry to interrupt you. I do want to say something, because a lot of loan officers, because I talk to a lot of loan officers too, they say, oh, I don't have time to do this. There's two ways this can go down. You either have the time and you do it, or you spend the money and delegate it to someone else. There is no way you don't have neither, okay? If you don't have the money, you must hustle, put the time in, manually send the messages until you make enough business where you can delegate this. If you have enough money, then you should still do it by hiring an assistant or hiring a marketing company or hiring a VA, whatever it is. But there is no excuse in this business. If you don't have money, you have time. If you don't have time, you have money. That's it. Like, there is no in between. Unless, I get it, there are some exceptions, people working second jobs and all that, but that's where you got to hustle and get through it. And then once you get through it, it will be much better.
Yeah, but I wanted to add one thing too. So coming back to that brand awareness piece that I was talking about earlier, the one other mistake I do see a lot of LOs make is I will literally go look them up online and I can't find them. I mean, they legitimately have no social media presence. They don't exist. They've never added a profile photo. They don't have a company logo. They don't have even a description of what do you do. So when you're going like to your point, Panos, you're prospecting these clients, you're building your list of your potential clients or your friends and family. How do your friends and family even know what you do? If they go look you up, are they going to see, oh, you're in the mortgage industry? That's interesting. I wonder when that happened. Hey, Panos, I saw you're in the industry. When did you leave? I don't know, the restaurant industry or the building industry or whatever else it is you left. And that brand awareness is what will help you convert. So if you don't have it already, even if you're not posting regularly, take some time to build the profiles, which, by the way, if you want help with that, our team can go help you build the profiles. We can even build the profile for you if you're willing to give us again, that's the delegation piece, right? You don't have the time, you don't know how to do it. Let us go help you for a small cost. We can go build that out for you.
On LinkedIn, I get messages from loan officers asking for assistance, and sometimes I'm reaching out to them because I feel like it's a good fit. It's amazing. I see so many individuals that don't have the simple things like a banner that shows what they do and their business that represents it, or the word I'm looking out for is headshot, a professional looking headshot, an about section that doesn't talk about their hobbies, but actually about their accomplishments. These are really basic things. It's a platform that people have just neglected because it's not sexy. But the reality is it is Facebook for business. It's just like Facebook, and it's being used at more, actually, especially when it comes to the engagement and the becoming viral aspect of things. So
on LinkedIn in particular, that's where people are going to get your contact info. That's why it's so useful. It's like your resume. I just wanted to share. Yes,
every single. Oh, sorry. I'll let you go. I every time I see a profile that's unfinished, forget not optimized, just unfinished. I take it personally sometimes. Like, not really, but it breaks my heart because I'm like, this person could be. Let's just say that they're struggling to grow the business the way they want. This person could easily get a few more referrals each month if they just make some tweaks and then have either watch one of our YouTube videos or have us go in, as David said, and just fix it for you, because that is a channel where business comes from. It's business Facebook, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's unprofessional. It's unprofessional. If you're going to look somebody up and you can't find them and you can't even understand what they do, they don't exist online. So why would you work with that person? That clearly shows they don't have attention to detail. So if they don't have any attention to detail, how well are they going to handle your loan? Or if you're a realtor, how well are they going to handle your transaction and market your property or bring you out to find new ones? A realtor I was talking to yesterday, it was funny. I asked her, I'm like, okay, so I'm on your LinkedIn and it says you work here, but your email is this, which I think is the previous company before that, and I don't have any other contact info. And she's like, oh yeah, yeah, so my banner's wrong and my phone number's wrong and my email's wrong, and that none of that's updated. But this was like almost 3 years ago that this changed. So like in my mind, I'm just like, what are you doing? Why do you even have this profile for people to find you? Because this is the only place she had any information. So it's just sad when we see this. Don't make that mistake. But that's the balance here is have the presence for the brand awareness, make sure it's accurate so people can find you, and then it'll help you convert. But don't waste your entire day online trying to put out content that most people aren't even going to see. The whole algorithm thing of like how many people actually even see it in the first place. And you're not going to get a lot of leads off that. Focus on what's most important, which is relationships.
Yeah, forget see. I see millions of things per day. How often do I opt into it? 0 to 1%, less, out of millions of things. On your point, let's assume that the person you're describing who just didn't have their stuff together, let's assume that's not you, who's ever watching this right now. Let's assume that's not you. You still need a LinkedIn profile optimized because it's where business is going to find you and come to you. Just like David was saying, they couldn't find the person because of the lack of contact. Have it optimized because you not having it optimized, just like it's a channel. Every social media platform is a door. I'm getting emotional about this. Every platform is a door, and by not having the door built, it's just you're limiting the amount of opportunities you can honestly have. So that's like sometimes the reason why I've created a TikTok account. It's another door. You may not like it, you may not love it, but it's a door, and it has gotten traction. It always does.
And one last thing before we wrap it up, because I know we have to wrap it up. Is right now, the three of us who are in this live, we are all prospecting right now. As we're talking to you, whoever is watching this, we, the three of us, are prospecting between us hundreds of people per day.
Yep.
That's why we have the time to do this. That's why we do all the other things. Because we have our prospecting down. Could we improve it? Potentially, you can always improve it. But the point is, we are doing outreach. If you want some help with that, reach out, DM us, DM me, DM David, Will. We'll see you next week. Wrap it up.
One last ask. If you're already on social media and you see someone else with a profile that's terrible, refer them over. Refer that LO to us and say, hey, I know a team that can go help you build that out. It doesn't cost you very much, and we can help you.
It just doesn't make sense when someone says, I need more leads. And I go, well, why don't you fix this? Like you can add a picture of yourself to your profile. Like I don't make that sense. No, I don't want to do that, but I still want more leads. Anyway, guys, we are over time. Thanks for watching. We're here next week, every week, every Friday at 12 p.m. noon Eastern. I want to mention a few things before we tune off. That makes no sense. Before we tune out, turn off. If you're not using the Omega CRM and you're not using a CRM, I highly consider you look it up. You can comment below Omega and I'll send you some info. We're doing a monthly LinkedIn prospecting workshop every month, and the first one is starting next week. So we're not going to be here live next week. Next week, if you want to, it's free. We're not going to be here same time, 12 noon Friday. So if you want to be a part of the LinkedIn prospecting workshop, it's an actual workshop. So you'll be doing things together with me. I'll be showing you and doing things with you step by step, showing you how to prospect on LinkedIn, of course. And also, if you are interested in using Sales Navigator as a loan officer, but you don't know how, this is not on YouTube, you can't find it anywhere, I do have a $12 course, crash course, so you can learn how to better target on the platform so you're not getting bad leads, because that's no one wants that. So thanks for watching. We'll be here not next week. Next week we have the workshop, so join the workshop and we'll see you next week. And if not, I'll see you the week after. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.